Every business wants good customer reviews. Every customer wants a good experience. So what happens when both sides click? Or in some cases, when they don't? From Yelp and Entrepreneur Media, this is Behind the Review.
Behind the review, dig deeper too. Behind the review, get all the news. Food, flowers, fixing, make business boom. Behind the review, dig deeper too.
I'm Emily Washkovic, Yelp's small business expert. On Behind the Review, I pick a review on Yelp and talk to the entrepreneur and the reviewer about the story and business lessons behind their interactions. This week, we're excited to feature MT Noodles, a Vietnamese restaurant that integrates family and tradition into their customer service. Let's see what's behind this week's review.
Hi, I'm Robby W. I'm a Yelper from the Twin Cities, and I actually found MT Noodles from an Instagram video. I was just scrolling one day on my phone, looking through the Explore page. It wasn't even anybody I followed, and I just love to click through food and look at food that tastes really good, and usually helps me find my next spot. And I found this random food influencer who posted this video saying they found this sort of like suburban Vietnamese restaurant with the best Vietnamese food they had ever had in the state. And so I was like, I have to go here. And I convinced all my friends to go one day.
MT Noodles opened in 2014 in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, just outside the Twin Cities, and it's known for its authentic flavors and fresh ingredients. Let's hear Robby's review.
Wow, wow, wow. I cannot say enough kind and positive words about MT Noodles. I went there last night with a big group of friends after seeing a video on Instagram where the food looked so good. We made the drive from Minneapolis to Brooklyn Park specifically for this, and it was so worth the drive. I'll be coming back for sure. The staff were the kindest, friendliest, and most helpful I've ever had at any restaurant. On the screens, they recommend newcomers to try the number 18, the number 8, and the number 16, which are essentially combination plates. Number 8 is over vermicelli noodles, and number 16 is over broken rice. I opted for number 8, bun doc biet special noodle salad, and it was just so delicious. It was vermicelli noodles and mixed greens, topped with an egg roll, grilled marinated pork, grilled marinated shrimp with peanuts, scallions, pickled daikon, and a lovely fish sauce on the side. This was just so incredible. The flavors were all very powerful, but worked together so perfectly. I added in a bunch of the fish sauce, and it really tied everything together. The egg rolls were crunchy and savory, the pork was tender and flavorful, and the shrimp were to die for. Perfectly cooked, very nicely seasoned and marinated, and with that smoky flavor that you love to taste with grilled food. One of my friends, on a whim, went for the number 11, Bo La Lot, grilled beef rolls, and one of the staff, who actually ended up being the wife of the owner, she came over and she told my friend how she was so happy she ordered it, and then explained how it was her favorite dish, and she actually spent 10 minutes at our table showing us how to properly roll and eat the dish. This was just so kind and so helpful because ordering new unfamiliar dishes can be very overwhelming, and she just made it so easy for us. The portion for this was massive. I think you could maybe feed a family even with just this one dish. They brought out a whole package of rice paper and water to stay the right temperature, and then there was a huge plate with all the fillings. There was a ground beef wrapped in betel leaf, herbs, vermicelli, daikon, cucumbers, and peanuts. For this dish, you roll it yourself, which can be a lot of fun with friends or a date or even just by yourself. This is the dish that I plan to come and get next time. It was just unique and delicious. They also have beautiful desserts, including house-made cakes available by the slice, sticky rice, a banana-flavored pastry type dish that I don't know the name of, and some other very cool Vietnamese traditional foods. I bought some of the banana dessert to take home for my birthday, and I still can't wait to try it. Everyone should come out and try MT Noodles. They are the kindest people ever, and they deserve success.
What a great review. Robby shared some of the highlights of his experience, including some of his favorite mouthwatering recommendations. MT Noodles is known for their fresh ingredients, authentic flavors, and incredibly kind staff. I sat down with Justin, one of the co-owners of MT Noodles, to hear more about how the business got its start.
My name is Justin Bowie, and I am one of the owners of MT Noodles. My mom's the backbone of it all. Like, it's her recipes and everything. She's been in the restaurant industry for over 20 plus years. It's her life. And for her, it was just another way to express herself through food. Herself and my brother, Denny, they got together and decided to open MT Noodles about almost 10 years ago now. They are the ones who really started it. Same with my sister, who is his wife. They kind of carried it on all the way through right now. And it started as one shop within Broadway Square, that strip mall that we're currently in. And because we were growing so much, they decided to take over the next shop over and kind of expand so we could have more seats. And next thing you know, we're still kicking today. For us, it's being able to share Vietnamese cuisine with the community. It's really fulfilling for my mom. We focus on really bringing those authentic dishes from her homeland to your table, and so that everyone can try it.
For Justin and his family, creating MT Noodles is all about sharing authentic Vietnamese cuisine with the people in the Twin Cities. Having fresh ingredients, and especially the special ingredients needed to make the traditional dishes, is really important. Lots of people are trying Vietnamese dishes for the first time at MT Noodles, so they have to make sure they create a flavorful and authentic experience.
We have different sources and different distributors for certain vegetables because they're very difficult to get. Actually, for the number 11, the balalo, that's a specific leaf that is very difficult to find and have to source from somewhere else. And it's super important that we do these fresh, because that is the cuisine. The cuisine is about fresh vegetables, right? Fresh noodles, and then perfectly cooked meat, perfectly cooked slices, and all of it coming together. If it's not as fresh, it's just not going to be a great experience. That's why everything's always so handmade. Again, that's a lot of hands on it and trying to figure it out and rolling and all that. But we really feel like the fresh of quality ingredients is a huge priority for us.
Justin explains that while there are different priorities for the front of house and back of house, the team at MT Noodles makes sure to share both feedback and wins across the entire staff. This ultimately helps the team feel like all of their wins are collective, and it reminds the whole team that they're all essential to the success of the business, and that they're united by the same goal of sharing authentic cuisine with their customers.
You have to share the wins just as much. This review, maybe a specific server, we just like, oh my gosh, like they said they had an amazing experience with you. Good job, right? Like that's awesome. Being able to recognize that. And same for back of house. Sometimes we get a lot of compliments on our dishes live right there. So I just want to make sure like, hey, they love this. Keep up the good work. The difficulties, I guess, always going to be difficult because it's laborious. We're really out there on our feet a lot. We're constantly moving. Mistakes are going to happen. It's really about always making sure we stay on the guidelines. Let's think of a solution. Let's move on to the next one. We'll handle it. We'll talk to the customer, but let's see what we can do better then. Our team is like, it's amazing. And they work so hard, both front of house and back of house. Customers have different preferences, and you got to make sure you don't take it too personally. And we've been really, really blessed with having a great staff that's able to communicate to all of our customers and really understand our priorities. I think as a business owner, you really want to immediately set the boundaries and the priorities for both sides, front and back of house. When it comes to the front of house, we really, really want to focus on customer service. So when someone comes in the door, we want to be able to say hello. When they're going to leave, we want to say goodbye. We want to just build that type of trust. That's kind of one of our biggest priorities. And then same with the back of house. Our priority is great quality of food, nothing rushed, but great quality, and making sure that everything is presentable and tastes amazing. And they do an amazing job on that too. If we need to remake a dish, we need to remake a dish.
We're going to take a quick break. Be right back.
Hi, I'm Robert Tuckman, and I host Entrepreneur's How Success Happens podcast. Each show, I get to interview a successful entrepreneur. Many have built some of the biggest brands in the world, like Lululemon, Warby Parker, Patron, and Drybar. But here's the part I love, because after doing hundreds of episodes, I've noticed regardless of one's success, we rarely get to hear about all of the challenges they faced and overcame to get there. They all had to pick themselves up off the mat at one time or another. I love hearing their stories and how these people we find incredibly successful today are really just like you and me. They all face difficulties, but they all kept going and got through them. On How Success Happens, we dive deep to find out how they overcame these issues and what was it that drove each of them to keep going and never quit. Because let me tell you, they all face difficult times. It's a great podcast if you want to learn from the best while inspiring yourself.
Family and tradition is evident in the way the business is run and is often what stands out to customers when they come to visit MT Noodles. Justin explains that maintaining open lines of communication amongst the team and with customers is ultimately the key to such a successful business environment. This was consistent with Robby's experience.
We went up to the front. We weren't sure how it all worked. And then they were kind enough to explain how everything worked. And they helped us to a table. And we came for my birthday, actually. And they had no idea. I didn't say anything. I never do. I was with all my friends and we sat down. And they clearly saw that we were a bunch of folks who did not have Vietnamese heritage, but they were so happy that we were there. And so they were super excited to see what we were going to order. And you could see in their faces they were really happy when we walked in. There's 6 of us, and 5 of us got the number 8, which is the one they recommend. And then our one friend got that number 11, the bo la lot, which is a much more traditional, less Americanized dish. And the waiter looked really, really happy when my friend had ordered that. And he took it to the back. And then about just a few minutes later, not even our waiter, so I guess it ended up being the wife of the owning family, so a member of the management family, but we had no idea who she was at the time. She came out to our table and she was like, "Which one of you guys ordered the bo la lot?" And we were all like laughing and we were like, "Oh my God, what's happening?" And we all pointed to my friend who was with us. And the biggest smile on her face, seeing that it was somebody who had never had it before, was just really kind. And she went through and just explained how much she loved that dish, like what it meant to her family, how she ate it at important meals as a kid with her whole family gathered around the table, and how she and her family and extended family would be rolling these wraps together and just telling us really kind stories about how much that dish meant to her and how she was so happy that somebody was willing to, go out of their comfort zone and try something new. Meant a lot to us, right? And it's a dish that none of us had any familiarity with. So, I mean, if they had brought out those individual components separately, we would have been really confused, but she's kind enough, walked us right through how to make it, stayed with us even once the dish came out and watched us roll and commented on our technique and gave us some constructive feedback, which was crucial for us because it's not as easy as it looks. It just really meant a lot to me. And then at the end, I was checking out. We were all paying. You pay at the front. I was just thanking them, for such a good experience I had. And that's when I noticed the desserts. And it was my birthday. So I was like, I might as well buy something to take home and eat at home with my friends. And I love banana flavored dishes. And I saw they had this interesting looking desserts that I'd never seen before. And I asked her what each one was. And she walked me through them and said that, that her mother-in-law makes everything like fresh. They're all fresh house-made desserts. And so I was like, okay, I have to try one of these now, but let me try something I've never had before. And so she showed me these steamed banana cakes. And unfortunately, I don't know the correct Vietnamese word for it, but I asked for some and she gave me this cool, like, cream sauce to go with them. And I said, I never had this before. I'd like to try it. And she said, you know what? Your friends have never had it, I bet either. And she just gave me a whole other one for free, which was just so kind, right? She didn't know it was my birthday. It was just my first time there. And she was just being so lovely to me. And, I was super grateful. And I got home and ate it. And it was phenomenal. I love banana flavored dishes and it just hit all the right spots.
To see someone who's never seen it before be willing to try, it's really exciting. You get to try something that is truly, truly authentic and something you might not be able to get anywhere else. We want to help you and help you navigate how to eat it. We try to tell all of our servers as well as like, hey, like answer questions, educate customers. Because I think nowadays we get a lot of newer customers who maybe they don't have the background of Vietnamese culture. So it is intimidating at first. And for us as a Vietnamese staff, how do we educate others to understand what this cuisine is about and why we do it this way and how to do it? And how do we get more people involved? So it is actually really exciting. And to be honest, people will do it better than I do myself. No judgments at all. We're here to just help you navigate through it.
For Justin and the team at MT Noodles, helping customers try new dishes is not only a great way to educate them about Vietnamese food, but also helps the team get feedback about how to improve their menu items.
You can't please everyone, whether it could be the most amazing dish, but some people, they might not like pork at all, right? They might not like this type of sauce and etc. We're all different and we respect that. And for us, it's actually trying to figure out how many times has that same type of feedback occurred. So if it's recurring, then it becomes like something we really need to look into. If you start to notice it's like a preference, like, hey, it's really just this person really loves this to be sweeter, then being able to acknowledge it, but then also kind of say, hey, like, can we recommend you this dish then? And again, you're just working with the customer to understand what might be better for them from your establishment.
It's clear how much Justin and his family care about their customers and their team. And this shows in their dedication to creating such a great experience for their customers. Robby said it makes a significant impact on him and is a great example of why locally owned businesses are so important and valuable to their communities.
I think it's really important to go to small businesses that focus on cuisines that aren't really emphasized a lot in American culture. And pho is really popular, and banh mi's are really popular. But I mean, I think there's quite a few people who probably can't name another Vietnamese dish. And for a long time, I was one of those people. And I think it's really important to go to these restaurants that are serving these authentic cuisines and trying the dishes that are authentic to the countries they come from. There's a whole lot of flavor out there that we miss with the traditional American palate. And so it just really opens up your whole world to try so many new things. And then I think completely on another point is that the Twin Cities is full of really amazing restaurants with crazy fine dining experiences, James Beard award winning restaurants and really famous chefs. And I've been to like a lot of them, and I've loved every minute of being there. And they really give you a fine dining experience, and everybody's really knowledgeable. But it's so different when it's family run, and this lady comes out there and tells me how much this dish meant to her family and her life growing up, and really opened my eyes to like what her childhood was like, and shared that experience with me, and then gave me like extra food to try and bring home for my friends to try. And that's something you don't get from anything but a family owned restaurant. There's nothing like that.
In addition to live customer feedback, the team at MT Noodles relies on reviews and social media to help boost their presence and reputation in the community. Robby was able to experience this on both ends of his experience. Not only did he find MT Noodles through social media, but he was actually approached by the team online soon after posting his review, extending his interaction with MT Noodles beyond the physical location of the restaurant.
They replied directly to my Yelp post, which was really nice, and they wished me a happy belated birthday, which was just so sweet. And I mean, they really made me feel good for going there, and it really helped knowing that they appreciated my review and that it meant something to them. It just feels nice as a reviewer when you know that restaurants look through the feedback and they actively go through it. They messaged me on Yelp and they said, "We love this review. Would it be okay if we post it as well?" So then I said, "Yeah, sure." And then I gave them my Instagram handle if they wanted to tag me. And then they messaged me on Instagram before posting it, just making sure it all looked good. And then they posted this beautiful post with like my Yelp photo and a quote from my review saying how much I loved it. And they tagged me and they said, "Look how much this guy loves our food. You should come try it."
Justin explained that social media has been really pivotal in helping them maintain connections with customers who visit them from around the country.
Having social media and online presence and marketing, those type of things where you can connect with someone maybe an hour away digitally and then create that connection so that it creates that willingness to drive out there. We always are super appreciative when folks do that. We get a lot of families that maybe come from the Dakotas, Duluth, Wisconsin, even just for the weekend to try it. And we are super grateful that people are willing to drive more than 30 minutes plus to our location because it's a trip. You're taking time out of your day. You got to get all the kids in, you got to schedule it and all that. So we really, really appreciate that. And we're in an area where we do have a lot of families and Vietnamese folks too. So that helps with the proximity. But as you start to expand, it's really good to see that people are willing to come and drive all their way.
And that concludes our episode. I hope you enjoyed it and were able to take a thing or two away to implement in your own life. Whether it's a new idea that you can bring back to your business or a fresh perspective on how to be a positive influence as a consumer, we share these stories to inspire and create more meaningful connections in your local community.
Behind the review, dig deeper too. Behind the review, get all the news. Food for hours fixing, make business boom. Behind the review, dig deeper too.
This episode featured a conversation with Justin Bui, one of the owners of MT Noodles, and Robert W., a Yelp reviewer living in the Twin Cities. Special thanks to Gia Khanna, who helped write this episode. To learn more about the story, check out the blog post. And you can find the show notes by going to yelp.com/behind the review. And don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite listening platform so you get an alert each Thursday that we drop a new episode. To claim your own Yelp business page and start engaging with consumers, visit business.yelp.com. Our theme song is performed by Ali Schwartz and produced by Robby G of Messerol Sound.